Welcome back to the Banganator podcast, brought to you by your host, Esley Banga, Season 2, Episode 21. And it's hard to give a damn about the Cowboys nowadays, especially right after the playoffs. It's depressing being a Cowboys fan. And it's just been a bunch of drama in the Cowboys organization, not even barely football related. But today, I got with me Monica Madrid, host of the Football is Sexy podcast. How you doing, Monica?
Now, you know, when I jumped on here and I saw your jersey, I'm like, it hurts. But I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Look, we both need a damn sixth ring, right?
Yep.
But no, what an honor to be on your podcast. I love what you do. I love your energy. And so well done, my friend. And I'm happy to be here with you, and it's an honor.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That means a lot. To God goes the glory. But to be honest, it's an honor to have you on my podcast because, you know, the big things that you're doing. So like I asked all my other guests, how did you become a 49ers fan?
Yeah, real simple. Like many of us, right? Thousands, millions of us. It started with a parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was my dad. My mom and dad had divorced early when I was 1. They were young parents. And so I was lived in Orange County, California, which is like towards the south, right?
Okay.
But my dad still lived up north. And so it was me going back and forth all the time. But my dad made sure that every time I saw him, we were going to a Niner game.
Okay.
We were going to a Giants game.
Okay.
You know, so for me, the game started in the stands at Candlestick with my dad and had matching jerseys, and there was no turning back. None.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Candlestick was a stadium that you don't understand unless you were there.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And even as a little kid, not knowing like really what the game was, like you could feel the energy.
Mm-hmm.
You could feel there was something really special about that place. And I got addicted to it, and I got addicted to football.
Awesome. That's freaking awesome. Yeah, you're right about Candlestick being a historic stadium. I remember whenever it was torn down, I think in like 2011-ish, 2012?
2014, to be exact.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
I only know that because it was also the year my dad passed.
Yeah.
So it was like an end of an era for me.
I see.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I know you must have witnessed at least some of the Super Bowls, right? Definitely the one in 95. What about the ones in the 80s?
Well, I witnessed from the TV. I never had gone to a Super Bowl until this year, believe it or not.
Okay.
And I don't even know why. I just never occurred to me, or we weren't in it, or the money was ridiculous.
No, the money is ridiculous. They drive the everyday fans out of the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So when Kelly Clarkson was nice enough and Jerry Rice were nice enough to, you know, recognize my fandom and what I'm doing with Football Sexy for Women, and you know, I think, you know, hearing the story about my dad and all that, they surprised me with Super Bowl tickets. So
that's freaking
it was
awesome.
a dream come true. And for my Niners to be in the Super Bowl on top of it was literally like a dream come true.
Yeah.
And in one of my other favorite stadiums, I love Allegiant Stadium as well. So it was a dream come true, for sure. But I did see some other games there.
Oh, for real?
I did. I remember I was there for the 2012 playoffs against Niners and Giants, and that was horrible.
Yeah.
We had my dad had 40 season tickets in the end zone.
Okay.
Section 35 to be exact, and ours was section 32, 35. I think it was 35, but we had seats 7 and 8, row 5, and those seats are now in my garage, getting ready to shine somewhere in the house.
Awesome.
But we were there when the fumble happened.
Wow.
And a lot of people probably don't remember this because you guys are young, but we should have had that game.
Yeah.
It was like literally one of those where everyone's celebrating, but I'm like, we got a minute and 40, a minute and 50.
Yeah.
And we kicked it off. No. The Giants kicked it off. I can't remember exactly, but I will tell you that Kyle Williams fumbled.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember exactly. I'll have to go back and look
Yeah.
at it, but I remember Kyle Williams fumbled and it was painful because the Giants went in and scored and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, all we had to do was catch that ball and maybe get one first down and call it a day. And he fumbled, and that was the other ring we didn't get.
Yeah.
And the Giants went on to the Super Bowl, and it was painful.
I feel like every single franchise has one of those, just one of those plays where, like, damn, if we could only have that playback.
Yep.
But
so
yeah. Tell me how did, obviously avid football fan since growing up. So how did that translate into creating Football is Sexy, your podcast, and also the app that you have?
Yeah. So thank you for asking. It all actually started in 2014 when my dad passed. I was obviously devastated. It was very difficult to watch games without him because that was our connection.
Yeah.
And many people probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We'd talk before the game, after the game, halftime, or we'd go to the game together, you know? So it was just a tough time for me. And I'd always taught the sport to all of my girlfriends, friends, family members. It's just, when you meet me, even way back when, one of the first things you realize is I am a die-hard football fan. And a lot of people be like, God, you seem like you have so much fun. Like, I want to learn the game. And, you know, so I taught the game organically for my entire life. So after my dad passed, I realized it was time to get back to what I do, and that's go to a game. And now they were in Levi Stadium, and I hadn't been there yet. And I decided I was going to go to the opening game in 2014.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, in 2016,
Okay.
2 years after my dad passed.
Yeah.
And right before I did that, something in me said, why don't you do what you do? You're going to go back. You're going to go back to what you love. And so on Facebook, I put, I'm going to teach football for fun, for free. I'll be at this pizza place from this time to this time. And if you want to learn the game, come, just come. And I don't ever do anything half-assed. So I was like, well, how am I going to teach this game? And I turned it into 12 steps at the time. And then I was like, oh, let me make some cool shirts. And I was like, well, what am I going to call it? And within seconds, it said Football is Sexy. It was like it literally came down from the heavens. It was so not well thought out. It literally was like, what am I going to call this? And it was just like Football is Sexy. And that's where it really started. And I saw how much fun the women had. There was like 40 women that showed up.
Ooh, okay.
The questions were amazing. I had so much fun. I videotaped it and I watched it back, and I'm like, you know, I think I'm onto something. I think there's a lot of women, and not just women, people that would like to be included in the game of football, and they don't know where to start. And if you don't have a parent, or a loved one or close person in your life that's going to take the time to teach you, there's nowhere to start.
Yeah.
But now there is. I'm the first one to ever teach any sport, by the way, and put it in an app. And I have plans for other things, by the way, but football, I started because that's my baby.
That's awesome. I love to hear it. I remember seeing like the Football is Sexy Instagram, because I think it was whenever I first had my sports page, and then I would just see your page, and I was like, oh, what's this about? Because I would see it pop up everywhere, and then but I still didn't follow. And then finally, right before the season started, the 2023 NFL season started, I was like, you know what? Let me follow them, because, you know, this chick Monica Madrid and then her co-host, they know ball. They know ball, and that's something I value, like people that know ball. So like y'all do y'all's thing. Y'all do a great job, amazing job of not only teaching people football and teaching women football, but also like football lifers like me. I've been a Cowboys fan, grew up with Tony Romo, and then, you know.
That was see, had you just turned around and decided to pick another team, you would have been all right. But now you're going to be in it like me, waiting for that sixth ring.
Damn. But see, at least y'all been to NFC Conference Championships and Super Bowls. What do we have?
Well, I was trying to be nice because you're my host, but I always value, first of all, I value all people, and you'll see on my page, it's for all people, all teams, right?
Yep.
So you'd be surprised. There's actually men that message us going, you know what? I'm so glad y'all are teaching, because on the down low, I wish I knew more, but I don't want to tell my homies that I don't know what they're talking about. So there's a lot of down low guys, and there shouldn't be nothing to be ashamed of, but I found it interesting. There's some guys in there that are like digging what we're doing. I think what is really cool is that, we're finding that balance between avid fans and still teaching the game, but in a fun way, right? So like we have Taryn, who's a Dallas diehard. You've probably seen Taryn.
Yeah.
There's a lot of she's diehard.
Yeah, I'm hoping to have her on my podcast too.
Yeah, I can make that happen for you.
Oh, that's a bet. That's a bet. Appreciate it.
And then you got, even D, who's a Steelers fan, and then we got girls, obviously the squad Chargers. And so we have a lot of people, and I'm trying to incorporate a lot of different ambassadors that represent other teams as well. Obviously, there's a big Niner fan base because of me, but we definitely want to show more fandom for more teams. No,
that's awesome. I definitely see your vision and how you plan to grow it. And it kind of reminds me of how, like, me as a fan, I mean, I always wanted to, as a kid, I always wanted to play in the NFL. But as soon as I realized that's not going to happen, that's when I started turning my attention to, okay, how can I still have a career in something that I love? So, like, right now, I just graduated with a bachelor's degree in sportscasting, part of the Dan Patrick's School of Sportscasting program at Full
Sail University.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Appreciate it. Thank you. The beginning of the NFL season 2022, that's when I was like, okay, not only do I want to put something on tape for potential future employers, but I actually want to do this. I love talking ball. I just never knew how to get started. So I created a YouTube, created a sports account on Twitter X and Instagram. And then now it's grown to, what it is now. So I love it. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to give you a quote. One of my good friends and president of Football Sexy, I took her this idea, one of the first people I took it to, and she's now president of Football Sexy, and she's a legend in her own right. Penny Toller, WNBA legend. Look her up if you don't know who she is, people. Only 2 women's jerseys hang from Crypto, formerly known as Staples Center, and Penny Toller is one of them.
Wow.
Penny Toller, Lisa Leslie. Penny Toller has 3 championship rings under the Sparks organization, and her accolades go on and on and on. But one of the things that I love that she says is start with go.
Yeah.
Start with go. And it sounds like exactly what you did. You just started with go.
Yeah.
You can't, and maybe one day we'll do an entrepreneur podcast, but you can't just worry about all these things down the line. Sometimes you just have to start with go.
Yeah, there you go. And that's what we both did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about your experience at Super Bowl LVIII. Obviously, you went on the Kelly Clarkson Show, and I'm a big Kelly Clarkson fan. I've been listening to her music ever since the 2000s. So first of all, I already love her, and I watch her daytime show from time to time. So it was awesome to see you on there. And then Jerry Rice pops up, and he gives you those tickets, and so you get to go to Vegas and take part in not only the festivities but actually get inside the game. So how was that?
Absolutely amazing. Like I still, when you're talking about this, I'm sitting here remembering this, but like I don't even know that I have fully been able to like sit and really reflect, because it was go right after too, because they had me on the following week too. And then there's other things that are going on behind the scenes that I'm working on for next season. So there's no slowing down for me. So I haven't really been able to like take a vacation or 3 days off to really think about what I just went through this year, because this was really our first season. But to be told, not only are you going to the Super Bowl and you're not paying $8,000, $50,000 a ticket, but then you're like sending me to Vegas for 3 days, like I'm so in.
Yeah.
And being able to take my best friend who I actually taught the game over 25 years ago, she was one of those friends that like was like, why are you so crazy about football? I'm like, girl, let me take you. We would drive to Candlestick, drive back after a game same day. So I made her a fan, she will tell you, and to be able to surprise her with the tickets, she could and watch her emotion and to go with my best friend who I've been doing this with for over 30 years. I mean, you can't write this stuff,
That's
you
awesome.
know? The energy in the stadium outside the days before was amazing. Everybody had a really cool vibe, Chiefs and Niners.
Yeah.
There was no, I didn't feel any ugliness or anything. It was like good, cheerful banter, passionate,
Good.
but all love, even after the game.
Okay. All right. That's
Even
good.
even after the game. I mean, it wasn't easy, but we got through it. And, you know, I took a lot of pictures with a lot of Chiefs fans before the game and after.
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. So when it comes to the actual gameplay, obviously you enjoyed a great run. You know, I saw whenever you went to Levi Stadium for the NFC Championship. That was a great game. And then the Super Bowl, you know, you're in the Super Bowl and all of this fanfare, like you just explained. And then you know, going through the game, McCaffrey fumbled on the first drive. The Niners, it was back and forth for a little bit. Then the Niners finally scored on a Christian McCaffrey. Later on, the Chiefs went up 13-10 on an MVS touchdown, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. The 49ers answered with a touchdown pass to Juwan Jennings. They led 16-3, some more field goals. And then Harrison Butker sent it to overtime. I know that must have drove you crazy. Like, oh, why can't we just end it right here in regulation?
It's a good thing there was not a camera on me during the game.
Yeah, probably nervous as hell. And then the 49ers, they elected to receive first. Went down and could only settle for a field goal. The Chiefs drove down and they scored a touchdown to McCole Hardman. They win the game. They go back to back. And the 49ers, unfortunately, they can't make it happen in a rematch of Super Bowl, what was it, 54? So
2019, yeah. Thank you for that recap.
Yeah.
Like a Dallas fan should, right? Take me through.
Yeah. I got to make you suffer at least a little bit, right?
And because you're the host, I'm gonna be good with it. I'm not gonna talk to you about Dak's last little, you know, situation when we kicked you out. I'm not gonna do
all
it.
The smoke. Us Cowboys fans, we deserve all the smoke. Oh my goodness.
Well, I have some questions for you.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have to have you on the podcast next.
For sure. Yeah. But
yeah, that was a tough loss.
Yeah. Take me through your emotions throughout the game and then like just your thoughts about the game in general.
So when I was in the stadium, in my seat, just fired up, watching the game. I didn't really have any, I was just watching, like, as a fan. I wasn't, sometimes you try to coach, sometimes you're like, you know what I mean? When you're at home, you're like, I would do that. I was literally in the moment as a fan, just watching.
All right.
The first time I remembered going, oh God, here we go, was when we missed the extra point. And I literally looked at my best friend, Sonia, and I said, that's very bad. Very bad.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said that, now I'm going to be faithful all through the game. Like, I'm going to be faithful till the whistle blows, right? The final whistle. But I will tell you that really concerned me because I saw the kind of game we were playing, right? It was a defensive game. These points weren't easy to get. These points weren't going to be easy to get on either side.
Yeah.
So that extra point changed the math. Right? So now they only need a field goal. They have one of the best kickers.
Yeah.
We have a rookie kicker.
Yeah.
These were some of the concerns I had going into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm on record saying, if we're going to win the Super Bowl, Brock would have to have one of the best games he's ever had. And and our kicker would have to be ready. Those were some of the things I'm on record saying before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because I have watched every 49er game since I can, like, I don't think I've ever missed a Niner game. Okay.
Yep.
And as long as DirecTV came along, I've always been able to watch all my games.
Yeah.
So knowing that, I had my concerns, but that was really, I thought that was going to be an issue. And then, of course, sometimes you can't see things or hear things when you're in the stands, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that our Greenlaw was going to be out the entire game.
Yeah.
Until, because what happens, you're in the stands, you're like, who is that? And we're like looking, we're like, oh, and then you don't see him come back. And then you're asking everybody, hey man, where's Greenlaw? And then someone's like, oh, I just heard it on so-and-so. I just saw it on whatever. So you're getting this information from other places in the stands. You're like, oh, this isn't good, man. This is not good. And if you notice, that's when Kelsey started running all through the middle.
Yeah.
Is when Greenlaw wasn't there. And it's no, you know, nothing on the guy that came in for him. It's just, you can't replace Greenlaw, man. You just can't.
Damn, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because I talk about that. I've only talked to, I think, one other person about the Super Bowl, and I'm like, a lot of people keep focusing on some other things, but Greenlaw was a huge disadvantage to me, losing him that game.
Yeah.
Because and now it's funny, because now you see it on some of the reels. They noticed, of course, that he wasn't there, and you can hear Patrick going, 57's down, 57's down. Well, that tells your, you know, offensive coordinator, oh, we're going in the middle.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, as soon as you know one of those guys is down like that, they're going to start targeting that position.
Yeah.
How many times does that happen, right? Your wide receiver goes down. You're going to, the quarterback's, oh, let's try the second string, you know?
Yep.
So all of that was not good. And then the overtime, it was a lot, man.
Yeah.
And actually, to be honest, I was like, I'm not gonna go what if. I'm gonna ride until the last whistle. And when it finally, the last whistle was, and it wasn't in our favor, I just was like, and my best friend goes, you know that they're waiting to hear from you, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to pull myself together. I'm not, you know, so thank God I had time to walk out of the stadium.
Yeah.
And before I went on live, and I did do a live, and I did, you know, congratulate the Chiefs. And, but I will tell you, as Monica Madrid, the fan, I was in pain like everybody else. I mean, tears are shred. People don't, maybe they hide it, maybe they don't, but tears are shed on games like those. And I was on record saying, I'm going to cry one way or another. They're going to either be happy tears or they're going to be sad, but I'm crying because we all put so much into these players and teams and games all season. Some of us since we were like 4.
The emotions that we invest.
Oh, the emotions that we invest. So, you know, I definitely shed some tears. I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine. After y'all were so close in Super Bowl 54, and then being this close in Super Bowl 58, it must definitely suck. I think the biggest thing that most people were talking about was Kyle Shanahan choosing to receive the ball first in overtime, knowing that both teams get a chance to possess the ball. See, there's a reason why in college football, those rules are already in place in overtime in college football. So if you win the toss, you choose to defer so that you know what you need to get, having the possession second, and you have a potential 4 downs every time.
4 downs.
Yeah.
Right.
So and I'm sure that you watched some of the mic'd up episodes where the players are on record saying, "Oh, damn, I didn't even know the rule."
Well, see, this is what makes me upset, because had they been on our Football is Sexy app, no, look at this. You would click on Sexy Talk, and you would type in overtime, and the whole explanation would have been right here.
Damn.
So Nick Bosa, I love you, my boy. I love you, Armstead. Like Kyle.
Hey.
If somebody would have had it, it would have been great.
Yeah. Once
and by
again,
the way,
your app, Football is Sexy. That is the app to be on to know everything about football.
And by the way, for the avid fans, I don't know if you guys are like me, but when it's the off season, I hate watching sports because I don't want to hear about baseball. I don't want to hear about. Even though I'm a fan of baseball, I'm a fan of basketball. So I just want to know football. Well, guess what? In the app, you click on breaking news, and it's only the hottest football news.
Okay, all right.
That's it.
All right, awesome.
There's no baseball. There's no basketball. Just football.
Hey,
so
y'all heard that once again. Download Football is Sexy.
Yeah, and it's free. So
hell yeah.
But yeah, Kyle's on record saying, and this is where it's tough, but he says he knew the rule, but he kind of overthought, actually. He thought we would score a touchdown, very important, and that they would score a touchdown. And if that happened, then the Niners would get the ball back, and then he thought we'd win.
Yeah.
That's a lot of thinking.
Yeah,
and I love my boys, and I love Kyle, and I think he's one of the greatest offensive minds in the game. But I have this thing called do the next best indicated thing. Yo, bro, you were like 5 steps ahead.
Yeah.
The next best indicated thing would have been to defer, and we'll figure out overtime again if that's where we go. But right now, and especially because nobody was just throwing up touchdowns.
Yeah.
It wasn't like this free fall of touchdowns. This wasn't a 45-48 game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's easy for us to sit here after the fact and judge, but I think, we shouldn't have even been in overtime, because then if you go back to the tape and you see 3rd and 4, Ayuk is wide open in the end zone.
Yep. But I think it's because like you just said, Chris Jones. Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody.
And somebody missed their block.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So these are things that, keep football fans up at night.
Yeah, exactly. Because then the what if start playing. So that's when you just got to be you just got to find a way to make peace. You just got to find a way to make peace.
And same with the players. And I will tell you this, I really felt for my boys. I am a fan.
Yeah.
But these guys work out 24/7, whether they're eating right, whether they're sleeping enough, whether they're, in the gym with their wives. I mean, these guys put everything into this game, and to come up short hurts me for them and their wives.
Yeah.
I will tell you that I have heard from some of the players' families, and the families are devastated.
Yeah.
It's not just the player, because they love their son, they love their brother, their husband, and so it takes football's a family sport.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what they were feeling compared to what I was feeling.
Exactly.
Because y'all know, a lot of us fans, when we lose some shit like that, I am not watching any sports channel for a week. I'm gonna let it die down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not ready.
Yeah.
It's like a slow put your toe back in when you lose a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And for y'all, twice in 5 years, but that 2012 Super Bowl too. 2012, February 2013, Super Bowl 47. I was going for the Ravens at the time, but only because I liked Ray Lewis and it was going to be his last year. But I also liked Colin Kaepernick and everything that he stood for.
Right.
The 49ers, they were just a badass, nice team. So even if the 49ers won, I would have been cool with that. But damn.
And you know what? Good for and Harbaugh's back, man. He's back. He was a coach for the Niners, and then he went to Michigan and got his national championship, and now he's going to be with the Chargers. So I'm excited to see what he does.
True.
I think it's going to be interesting because I always I'm on record as talking about the Chargers of being kind of like a soft team. They're in their powdered blue, yellow. They got, Herbert, nice guy. Looks like he surfs, chill. You still got that San Diego type vibe. Everybody's so nice. Everybody seems cool.
Yeah.
Where even Joey Bosa, like I didn't see any grit on that team. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see a lot of grit. I don't see a lot of things on the sidelines that as a fan I like to see.
Yeah.
But now that Jim's there.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's going to raise it up a level.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be soft and quiet around Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I like him at Michigan. Yeah. I'm a diehard Texas fan, but Michigan was my second favorite team. So I'm glad that he got it done over there. I'm happy to see what he can do with the Chargers. Yeah. But let me ask you, what do you think, what do the Niners have to do to get back to the Super Bowl and actually win it? Because they got all the pieces. I don't know
that is the best question I've had in weeks.
Oh yeah, I mean, for 6 years.
Besides hire me.
They should, low key, but for 6 years, they have a top notch defense. They got all the offensive playmakers. Obviously, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, some of which have been on my fantasy football page. Yeah. Brock Purdy, he has come up to this level right here. So what do they need to do, even though they already have all the playmakers?
So, there's what do we need to do and what do I wish we could do, right?
Yeah.
What I wish we could do is go back and get D'Amico Ryans back on our coaching staff. That's
he's doing big things with that boy over there, the Texans.
Yeah, the Texans. I was not happy about that. But realistically, what we can do right now, we're about $5 million over the salary cap, I think, right? We've got Brock for under $1 million, right, on a rookie contract. So to me, 2024, it has to happen because we're going to lose a lot of our key guys. Probably is going to be a lot of change because we're going to have to restructure. Brock's going to want his money, even though he's a really nice guy and he doesn't care about Louis Vuitton and he's like, where's his Cole outfits? He's going to want to get paid and he deserves to get paid.
Yeah.
So right now, I think like every team, we got to stay healthy. Have to stay healthy. We need to bring Ayuk back.
Yeah. Because I saw him tweeting I saw Ayuk tweeting like, "Hey, stick with what you got. I brought you here." So.
And I remember when he wasn't doing Ayuk things. I remember when he was in the doghouse with Kyle a few years ago. He was missing really, easy throws. But he got it together and he's become like a big part of our team. I would like to see Juwan Jennings stay. Very important that we keep him. And I know that, he's not as locked in right now. I think the core thing is to keep who you have and then just go in there and do it again and make sure that the overtime rules.
Yeah.
And not overthink when we're in big games.
Yeah. True. And
just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Go with what got you there. A lot of these, and I'm not talking about Kyle, a lot of these coaches, I think, in big games, sometimes they try to outthink themselves, right? Like, perfect example, Seattle Seahawks, 4th and 1. You have Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
That will be forever a question for Pete Carroll or Russell Wilson, right? Like, for the life of everybody, why would you not give it, like, you outthought something or you wanted, some of the rumors are you wanted Russell to get the limelight.
Yeah.
Whatever the case, sometimes I think in those big moments you can outthink yourself, right? So I would like to say, like, if everybody go to yoga class the day before the Super Bowl, let's just get centered. And then go out and enjoy ourselves and do what we do. I think it's a lot of mental, right? Because we know we're capable. I mean, if someone were to ask me what was the most exciting in-person game, I would tell you today was Levi Stadium, Niners versus Detroit.
Okay. All right.
Down by 17. That game stood out more than any because you also felt for Detroit because of what they've been through. Like, all of the stories, I love Dan Campbell, but I'm telling you, to be in the stadium that day and be down 17 and then have Journey, who was like a staple of the Niners, staple of the Bay, come out and sing Don't Stop Believing. You felt, and I talked about this, and you'll see it in my reels, you felt an energy shift in that stadium.
Yeah.
And it was like magic. And when we came out, so if you had like a screenshot of like the fans and Don't Stop Believing, and then you had the screenshot of what was going on in the locker room. In fact, I know some people. I'm gonna have to see if I can make that happen, because that would be amazing. But you know, lyrics, just a sound of born and live in South Detroit, and everyone said San Francisco. I mean, it was wild, man. And that's what I love about sports. Look at us, like, it brings so much joy, even in the pain, right? And so it's my job and my mission to connect more people, to add to their life, to learn something new, and be welcome into this world of energy and fandom and passion.
Yeah. You just talked about what you would like your 49ers to do in free agency. Since I'm a Cowboys fan, from an outsider's perspective looking in, what do you think about the Cowboys saying that they'll most likely extend Dak, Tony Pollard not being franchise tag, and Tyron Smith expected to be a free agent?
Well, I think there's good and bad things about your franchise, right? I think that Jerry Jones is obviously a billionaire mastermind marketing genius.
For sure.
But to win a Super Bowl is a different thing, right? And I appreciate his loyalty that he's had to all of his quarterbacks. But I think at some point you have to look at yourself and say, I got to cut bait and I got to take the loss. And the Niners did it with Trey Lance, right? We cut bait quick. But there's a part of me that appreciates Jerry Jones for keeping Tony Romo for so long. When, as an outsider, I'm like, they're never going to get that ring with that guy. But I love him in the booth, by the way. And I love Tony Romo. But I'm just saying, like, it didn't seem like a fit, right? And now you have Dak. And I think you have the same situation. I think he's a great quarterback. But what we're finding out is there's good quarterbacks, there's great quarterbacks, and then there's Super Bowl quarterbacks. Right? And he's not, as of now, he hasn't shown himself to be a Super Bowl quarterback, right? Let alone a playoff quarterback. So if I'm him, I'm going to get some other help, like yoga, again, like, because I think there's mental things that I think we know you're capable, but there's something that happens to some of these people, I think, when they're in big games on a big stage. So if I was in that world, I would suggest, like, let's go tap into what's going on internally. And I think that's the difference. I think that's the difference between, like, your Joe Montana's, Jerry Rice, like Terry Bradshaw, Tom Brady. It's a mindset. And
obviously we see it with Mahomes too, like that in the playoffs. He turns it on.
Exactly. And you see it too, like, how are you going to give him? Like, to me, I restructure that completely different. And I've been on record saying, you know, I'm so crazy that if I owned a team, I'd be like, look, here's how we're going to go. Like, I'm going to pay you like $4 million a touchdown, but I'm going to minus 500,000 an interception.
Incentivize.
And we'll just 100%, because a lot of these guys have over 230 million. Jalen, where was he this year? Joe Burrow's hurt this year. Josh couldn't get it done. But all these guys have over 230 million. And look at my Brock with 900,000.
Still on his rookie contract. And you bring up a very good point. That's the thing. Like, now players are expected, and you know, it's obviously it's a business, you know, so they have their agents, and their agents are trying to push their players to go for market value. not based off of what you did. Obviously, if you did great things, they'll help use that to get you a high contract. But now it's market value. It's not based off of really what you did or what you're projected to do. That's the issue.
Right. And we talked about this right now. You guys have, controversy coming out about what, Dalton Schultz said, right?
Yeah.
He's like, it's a zoo.
And
it's a zoo over there.
Yep.
I mean, that's
he's right.
That, and he's not the first one to say this.
Yeah.
Right. So I think there's a lot of, and I love Cowboy fans because y'all just as passionate about your team, right? And I always ask you guys, what do you think? And what I hear so often is you love Jerry, but you wish you would step down and let somebody else make some decisions, right? And then somebody said, well, his son's a general manager. I go, again, who do you think's making the decisions? His dad or his son? Yeah. Jerry's running the show. Yeah. So I think sometimes you can be so far up that you're not boots on the ground, right? Yeah. And a lot of what football sexy is I think, listen, I don't have a broadcasting degree, I have a passionate degree, right? Yeah. But I'm boots on the ground and I'm filling a space that I feel isn't here. So there's something to be said for boots on the ground. And I think that Jerry is a genius, but I think his loyalty sometimes gets in the way of making tough decisions. Yeah. But I also appreciate that about him. But if I were the Dallas Cowboys right now, honestly, I would make a change. Not to say that Dak isn't a great quarterback, because he would be great somewhere else. Yeah. But just to change it up, because I don't think that you're going to get past the Niners. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
And past Detroit with what you have. Yeah. It's not going to happen. And here I go. I'm on record, but I don't see it happening. Yeah. I just don't.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you. Like most of us non-biased Cowboys fans realize that Dak is a great quarterback in MVP conversations last year. He was second team All-Pro, but whenever it comes to the playoffs, especially the last few years, he just can't get it done. So like, what I would do is I would have been done this, not be so tied to Dak and commit to him so much. I would have drafted a quarterback. I don't even know why they got Trey Lance. To be honest, Trey Lance's ass. He was being outplayed by every other single backup QB in preseason. I don't even know why we got him. But anyways, so yeah, I would have been done, got drafted a quarterback from college, just one of these it doesn't have to be, because the Cowboys are never bad enough to get a high draft pick.
Right. But that's the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, Justin Fields is available. Russell Wilson's available.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, could you imagine?
Exactly. Yep.
Could you imagine? Yeah. I mean, just sometimes a change of scenery is important. And I could go on and on. I think this way about Mike Tomlin with the Steelers too. I think he's a great coach. Yeah. But I just don't see that they're going to get to the next level as is. But they keep their coaches for 20 years.
Yeah. I think it's, when it comes to the Steelers, I feel like it's a GM issue, because since the GM is responsible for getting the players. Now, if it's somebody like Bill Belichick, Bill Belichick is the GM whenever he was with the Patriots. So it makes sense to get Bill out of there. But yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what you guys do. I mean, I think you're going to end up with Dak.
Yeah, we are. We are. Because what other option do we have right now?
And sadly, I think it'll. Listen, I kind of pull for him in a way as a person, but obviously I'm a Niner fan, and that's never going to be. I'm never going to go for Dallas. Like you're never going to go for the Niners unless where you're out of it, right? But that aside, all people that I've talked to, say he's a great guy. He's a good guy. Look, there's a lot of good guys in the NFL. Yeah. But this is y'all need to win.
Yeah, exactly. When it counts too, because now
good is great.
Yeah.
But can you win?
Exactly. And now it's getting to the point where we know. Okay, I'm not talking about the Cowboys fans that are like, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl next year, right? I'm not talking about that. I hate those Cowboys fans just as much as Stephen A. Smith does. So I'm talking about most of us Cowboys fans that live in reality. We know that the Cowboys are going to do good in the regular season. So it's just kind of like, oh, damn, I got to go through this 3-month, 4-month period of the regular season. I know we're going to do good. Yeah, I know we're going to do good in the regular season. Okay, now we in the playoffs. Can we do it? Oh, wait, no, we can't again.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. I was
I mean, I wish you luck. I don't wish your team luck, but I wish you luck.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Trust me, I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna do it all over again.
Yeah.
We gotta do it all over again.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, to come so short, to come so close for us, we gotta do it all over again.
Yeah. That is tough. That is tough. Cause it's like at least if you win a Super Bowl, from a fan perspective, you're like, okay, now I can chill. Even if we don't win a Super Bowl for I don't know how many years. Okay, all right. I just got one. That's how I feel about my Texas Rangers in baseball.
Right.
So,
right.
But whenever your team hasn't won it or you didn't witness your team win it in I don't know how many years, then it's like, damn, we got to do this all over again. So,
we're here to help each other through the pain, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna be having fun as we go. And also the Cowboys play the 49ers next season.
I know. I can't wait till the dates come out.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
We'll see. Maybe I'll see you there. We'll see.
I hope so. I don't know if I'll be able to, but I definitely like to come over there. Yeah. Last question: who is your all-time 49ers favorite player?
There's only one, and that's number 16. You got to go with Joe Montana.
Okay. All right.
And it's a sentimental reason, and that's because my dad's favorite player was Joe.
Okay. All right.
So you'll see I have number 16. I wear it often. I have it on some of the apparel. And that's a nod to my dad. He used to sign my cards, #16 on every card before hashtags were cool.
That's awesome.
So I gotta say Joe, but of course I have a ton. Ronnie Lott, Jerry Rice, Dwight Clark, George Kittle, Bosa, CMC. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Yeah. But I'd have to say Joe.
That's awesome. Yeah, great answer.
Never lost the Super Bowl.
Never lost. Yeah.
The real GOAT.
I think Tom Brady's the GOAT, and then Joe Montana, and then
I won't give it
Patrick
to him.
Mahomes.
I won't. No, I will only give him 5 Super Bowls. By the way, not 7. I do not give him Seattle. I do not give him Atlanta. I will give you 5.
All right.
Barely.
All right.
Yeah. No.
All right. Thank y'all for watching this episode of the Banganator Podcast. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on the Banganator Podcast Instagram, and also on Banganator Pod_4 on the Twitter X. Again, thank you for coming on, Monica. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, my friend, and I appreciate. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it. Keep repping your boys. I love it, and I'll see you on Instagram.
I appreciate you. You too.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. It was an honor.
The Banganator podcast is brought to you by Esley Banga, diehard fan of the Dallas Cowboys since 1997. How about them Cowboys?